Hello, I'm Mark Cooper with PKI Solutions, and today I'm going to demonstrate how PKI Spotlight helps with security posture management. And for us, when we talk about security posture management, we're really talking about the ability to make sure that your PKI is configured and maintained in accordance with your security needs. Now, security posture management can range everything from understanding how your PKI is configured, as well as getting information about when that configuration has changed. Here in PKI Spotlight, we're currently looking at the dashboard, and in this environment, we're monitoring 5 online agents, and we have 6 that are offline. We're also tracking 8,260 different events through the environment, and I can quickly change this and take a look at just how many error events that we have in the environment. Now, some of the most impactful areas within your PKI that can be affected from a security perspective have to do with the configuration of your environment. So if we go in and we take a look at our CA roles, there's a number of important things within our certificate authority that are going to impact how secure our PKI is, as well as how secure the identities and data encryption systems relying on the PKI are operating. Here, for instance, in our policy module configuration, we can quickly see how all of our servers are configured within the ADCS policy module. This defines how certificate requests will be followed, what rules are going to be applied, and what types of attributes are allowed within a certificate request. I can quickly scroll through my server configurations and see if they are configured identically. For instance, here with the Blue Sky Root CA and the Enterprise Subordinate CAs, I can quickly see that the policy module flags are not exactly the same between these 2 environments. So this is something that I can make a point to determine if I needed my Enterprise Subordinate CA to be following the same configuration. I can quickly go onto my CA and change those settings. In addition, I can see the same thing. Europe issuing CA01 has a very different set of CRL flags as far as what it is doing with the CRLs after it's been published. So this is a great way I can determine how my CAs are configured. I can also come and look at properties such as my online certificate status protocol, my OCSP responders, and I can come in, for instance, and take a look at the ACLs that are associated with the OCSP responders to see what permissions are granted. Whether this is through a malicious or an anomalous activity, I can determine if the permissions have been changed on any of these services. I can also make sure that they are in accordance with best practices and our base standards. I can take a look at permissions on our web enrollment site as well as how they are configured, and request template subject information is being added in there. If you're running hardware security modules in your environment, you can also come in and take a look at how those HSMs are configured, as well as what firmware is in place. Some HSMs have firmware-related vulnerabilities that need to be addressed, so you can determine what versions are in place. There's also attributes inside of Active Directory that you should be aware of. For instance, the NT-auth CA container determines which CAs in your environment are trusted for authentication, whether it's onto VPN, Wi-Fi, or smart cards. So by being able to understand what CAs are trusted here, I can determine which CAs are going to be used in the environment. I can also determine if somebody has maliciously added a CA that's going to allow an external certificate to be used to authenticate into the environment. Root CAs, this will indicate which CAs in general are trusted. If somebody has a malicious code signing certificate or some type of smart card or user authentication certificate, we'll be able to determine whether that's been added to the environment here in the root CA. We can also take a look in events. There's a number of particular areas that organizations should be looking for. So for instance, if I'm curious about activities within my CA, I can come in and take a look at the CA security events. And here I can see whenever ACLs have changed on a certificate authority. I can also take a look at the Directory Services certificate template. Probably one of the most powerful things that you can do inside the environment is to look at changes to the template. Since the template is going to be used to issue certificates, understanding when something has changed is very significant. So for instance, we can see here that changes have been made to this template, the RDP TLS v3 template. I can also see things such as when a basic constraint has been added. I can also see when a certificate has been added into Active Directory as well. And lastly, I can also see when ACLs changed. So these are all things that I'm able to get real-time information on. Through using our email subscriptions, I can come in and create a subscription alert. So let's just call the CA Security Alerts. And I'm going to send this to our help desk. So I'm going to send this to ServiceNow at contoso.com. Log. I set this for logging all of our agents. And there's a number of things that we can select here. So for instance, if we're interested in information about our CA ACL changes, we can configure that there. We can also do our OCSP. And let's say that we're also concerned about templates. So I'm going to select my DS certificate templates and create. Now, the moment that anything has changed the CA permissions, OCSP permissions, or has changed the certificate template property, I'm going to get notified instantly.